It's good, John. It's Elite in the place. Welcome to 92 Infinity Hip Hop Podcast. Here with my co-host,
Riz, the hip hop connoisseur. How's it going?
It's going pretty good, man. How about you?
Episode 5.
Episode 5. Wow.
So, what are we doing today?
Well, I think this is a really cool episode because we haven't at all talked about any female hip hop artists or albums.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is a pretty monumental one.
It is.
What album are we going in on today?
We're doing Lauryn Hill's solo, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
Man, I remember when this album first dropped, late 90s.
Yeah, 99.
And the feeling associated with the album was so impactful because at that time, I don't think at least there was any female artist pushing the envelope the way Lauryn Hill was.
I guess it depends. Depends on how you look at it. I think Lil' Kim really broke ground with pushing the envelope, but a different way, different angle, right? Very. Just, I mean, what you see now is what Lil' Kim birthed. The Cardi B,
Megan Thee Stallion.
but she did it she did it also being an MC and a great one at that.
And I think that the fun thing is, so we did a poll on Instagram. What album did you want us to review? Either Lauryn Hill's Miseducation or Lil' Kim's Hardcore.
Right.
It was 100% on the Miseducation side.
Right.
And I get it because it's got like that pop-friendly songs that are relatable across the board.
Right.
Not just hip hop heads.
Right. And it's got that R&B aspect to it, which the masses like, especially now. Right?
So good.
Yeah.
And I know what y'all gonna say it's not all hip hop albums are, but let's be fair. This is kind of prompted by Billboard's top 25 female artist list.
Right.
And Lauryn being on the list, it's only crucial that her position gets amplified. But before we get into the album, let's talk about this list a little bit.
Yeah. So Billboard magazine, for some of you out there who know that, they recently did a top 25 female MC list, and not top 25, top 25 in order from 1 to 25. So I'm going to quickly read out the list from 1 to 25, starting with number 1. So Nicki Minaj, Missy Elliott, Lauryn Hill, Lil' Kim, Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, Salt and Pepper, Roxanne Shante, Eve, Foxy Brown, Cardi B, Da Brat, Trina, Left Eye, Megan Thee Stallion, Doja Cat, Rhapsody, Remy Ma, Lotto, Moni Love, Glorilla, Lady of Rage, Gangsta Boo, R.I.P., Doechii, and Tierra Whack. So yeah, it's an interesting 25. Your takes on it? Your initial take on it?
So just hearing those names, I think there are some names that are way too early to be put into a top 25.
Right.
Like I think if your career is a year, 2 years old, you cannot be the top 25 of anything of all time. Right? Like, top 25 NBA players of all time. Anthony Edwards is amazing. He's not going to make the list.
Right. That's a very valid point.
You need some credentials.
Right. But it's funny because the album that we're doing today for Lauryn Hill, that was her only album. Right? Okay. So we're basing her arguably in the top 3, maybe in number 1.
Right.
With one.
Okay, so does her Fuji's contribution affect us at all?
I think you got to separate the two.
Right, because that's the group project.
I mean, the success that you had with the Fugees, you can't intertwine the two together.
Because why not just like the...
If you did a versus, and Lauryn Hill did a versus, would it be fair for her to bring the Fugees out?
No, it's not fair.
Can't do that, right?
Solo for solo.
Right, solo for solo. But saying that's how good this album is. Because she only has to do one.
Yes.
So as an MC, as you being an MC, what's more prolific? Releasing one album your whole career, but it spans through the time and it's a classic that people still talk about 20, 30 years later, or have 5 or 6 albums that are,
Because now you're getting into the space of the J Electronicas, the Lupe Fiascos, the Most Steps, all these iconic artists that dropped one masterpiece.
Right.
Kind of just
even AZ kind of.
AZ was masterpiece.
Right? Yeah. Or a long period of time before they come back to the table.
See, it's tough for me because I feel like if you create a masterpiece, like if Da Vinci just created the Mona Lisa,
right,
he would always be remembered for the Mona Lisa.
True.
And I think because Lauryn Hill created the masterpiece, I think that contribution is significant enough to warrant a spot, because it's not just a good album. Like, as far as the quality songs are on there, it's not just good.
I don't disagree with you at all. I think it's more than valid to be up there, but it's interesting how she has all this acclaim off of one album. I don't think, have we really seen that?
No, not to the position where
there's one album. Like, we're not talking about one masterpiece. We're just talking about one album. The only other album she released was an MTV Unplugged in 2002, which is really just the same song.
With the Misery of Inequities that came afterwards.
Yeah. Well, that was And we're back.
And we're back. Oh, it might have been the Wi-Fi that just cut out for a sec. So, did you have when? Yeah, I'm gonna just turn off the Wi-Fi and just go data. No, looks like we're good again.
Good.
Stream Deck's having some issues.
One of those days. We've been having a lot of technical issues today.
Yeah, power bar,
USB, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you don't see any genre where a person releases or a band releases one album and it's a classic album.
Yeah. So when you look at the list, though your first reaction, who's missing?
For me, Mia X.
Massive.
I mean, Mia X for us in No Limit. She was a part of No Limit Records. Their history. She was the first female of the Tank, and she really rapped it. You know, just like Lady of Rage with Death Row. Another thing with Bad Boy. Yeah. Every major record label had that one monster female artist. Yeah, that times have changed now. That it's not really that trajectory anymore. Female MCs are just rappers. They're not considered female MCs. Right. They're just MCs. But during the 90s and early 2000s, they stood out in a different. They really have to prove it. Work a lot harder.
So I mean, because to me, there's quite a few noticeable missing names for me. Like, definitely. I think No Name not being there is messed up. No Name's been dropping bangers for years, and even though she's a newer school artist, she's got multiple albums. Yeah, and one of the few female artists that went at J. Cole.
Yeah, see, I mean, when we were talking about it, I haven't heard of her, so I'm gonna now do some research on that.
And shout out to my kids for putting me on the Little Sins. Because I didn't know anything about Little Sins, and my kid's like, yo, you need to hear this female, because he's a bit of a drill rapper.
So you never watched Top Boy?
No, I have not seen Top Boy. Everyone's telling me to watch it.
That's how I know her, from Top Boy.
And she can spit.
She can act, she can spit.
The
like
Gorilla,
if you haven't heard that, check it out. It's
so Little Sins is another missing one for me. Yeah. See, the thing is, for me, I think what really sucks is not having Jean Grey on there. Who was a bar spitter, again, more underground. But if you're going to do a top 25 list of female MCs, you don't okay, I think Glorilla is dope. Like, I do too. I think who Glorilla is dope. She's not an MC. She's not a rapper. She's really mid. I think Cardi's really mid. Tierra Whack is okay. It's okay. She's okay. Who else was there?
Doja Cat's mid.
Doja Cat. Personally, I think Doja Cat's whack. Yeah. But that's my opinion. But yeah, I think there's a lot of missteps on here. I think Billboard is kind of placating the social media generation with this.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it. First I thought it was based on just kind of popularity, because if that's the case, then it kind of makes sense, right? But then you see they put rappers like Left Eye and Rhapsody, so they threw in they sprinkled in a couple of.
What number is Rhapsody?
So Rhapsody is number 17. Grammy Mod 18 is crazy.
But to me, Rhapsody at 17 is unreal. That's sickening.
I agree.
Rhapsody should be top 10.
Even the Brat at number 12, she made such an impact. Wow. She made such an impact. Lady of Rage at 22.
Yeah, that's just a throw-in. She should be much higher.
Yeah.
Because bar for bar, like Lady of Rage is a monster.
I totally agree. Yeah. And Foxy Brown at number 10. like, and Roxanne Shante, like, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't heard. I know who she is. I haven't heard a lot of her stuff, and I know she's impactful. But I would put Foxy Brown before Roxanne.
Well, you wouldn't have heard Roxanne Shante. I wouldn't have heard it. She was the first female MC. Right. So like that, she would have been way before our time.
That's right.
Even earlier. Yeah, she was one of the first.
Right.
And you know,
so she's like doing the Grandmaster.
She has to be. Like that's like doing a top 25 and not putting KRS-One in the list.
Yeah.
Like that's just silly.
Right.
You got to put the teacher.
So I guess it's the list is subjective. I guess. Right? It's subjective. Right? You're never going to have a perfect list.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
I don't know what they based it on.
Yeah.
We definitely think that there's a lot of missteps.
I think Billboard has consistently been bad.
Well, they don't know the culture. They never have.
Nah.
Right? They don't. I mean, they just. In the last 20 years is when they really released. They started having separate categories for rap singles and hip hop. Before they did it,
they didn't care.
It wasn't. They didn't give a shit. They didn't give a shit. It was only when in the late 90s when hip hop really started to sell units and they had no choice.
Yeah, 100%. Right? And the thing is, for me, like, I absolutely love how the game has evolved as far as storytelling goes, what females can say, what they never used to say, where they're at now. Like, you know, is Salt and Pepper on the list? I think so, right? Yeah. So like, you know, we always talk about this idea of sexuality being infused to hip hop when it comes to women, right? And that's crazy too. It's always this weird thing about how sexuality is introduced into hip hop when it comes to women. But if you really think about it, Salt and Pepper was doing extremely sexual content.
Oh, they were
from day one. Push It was all about it. Shoot was very sexual. Very sexual.
Even the video.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and I think those are sexy as hell. But I think the difference is what Lauryn Hill did with her sexuality is she introduced a kind of R&B sensibility, romantic type of sexuality, as opposed to punching you in the face with sexuality.
And I don't want to sound rude, but she brought class.
It is what it is.
She brought a lot of class.
It is what it is. Yeah, for sure.
For a long time, there was a stigma about female rappers.
Yeah.
We had Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, they had covers on Vibe and Scores. And they were scantily clad, and we loved that. As guys, we loved it.
Yeah.
But there's more to that.
100%. Right? And she also introduced a kind of intellectualism that was missing.
She really did.
And I remember, you know, because, I mean, if people don't remember, Lauryn Hill was in Sister Act 2.
That's where you kind of touch base on something. So that's where I was first introduced to her. I didn't know her as Lauryn Hill. I just knew her as the actress in this movie. When were you first introduced to her?
The first thing I saw of her was the Apollo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. So there was an Apollo performance, the Fugees.
Right.
Nobody really knew who they were.
Right.
And they came out and she had that part where she's like, it's funny how money changes situations. And there was no beat behind it. And the Apollo was kind of like, whatever. And then she kept going and kept going. And the beat dropped and the crowd went crazy.
So this was the Fugees' second album?
First. Oh, no, the score.
Yeah. So the big album.
The big album.
So that's when you first heard.
That's when I didn't even know her name was Lauryn Hill. I was like, oh, Fugees. Right. Fugees are amazing.
Yeah, no, when I watched Sister Act 2, I just thought, oh, she's an actress. And that's it. And then years later, when you saw her in Fugees, I was like, hey, I remember her from Sister Act 2.
And the thing is, for me, like, I remember seeing the album cover and thinking, oh, God, she's so fucking fine. She's so damn fine, man.
She had a different, like the dreads and dressing and a really addictive smile that she has, right? She just
lights it up.
Yeah.
But before we get any further, make sure you hit the subscribe button on the screen there. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, the High Praise page on Facebook. We're trying to get subscribers to 100. Once we get to our 100 subscriber, we'll do our first 90 to Infinity giveaway. And if you are a cannabis smoker at all, we're going to do our first light up of the night. Nice. I like to do it at 420. We're actually doing it at 1420, which still kind of works. That kind of works.
So it's 420 somewhere.
It's 420 somewhere. Yeah. So if you are a smoker, make sure you light up, take a toke, and let's get into the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
So I remember purchasing this album real time. The album that we've reviewed 3 now prior to this. And the NWA album, I didn't buy it real time. I bought it years later.
Right.
Tyler, I never bought, and Drake, I never bought. But this album I bought, and based on Doo-Wop. because it's just so good.
Unreal.
And I don't know if you remember, but that's when we in Vancouver, we finally got access to BET. So we could see the videos. So a lot of you, I know now you go on YouTube, you can watch anything you want, but back then we couldn't watch videos for hip hop. We had a show on this channel called Much Music. I'm sure some of you old heads know. And there was a show called Rhapsody, and there was a show called The Mix or The Vibe. And you could see the odd video, but we couldn't see everything. And then all of a sudden, BET came into the lineup, and we could now watch all of these videos, and we could watch the ads.
And BET didn't just come with your cable subscription.
No, it did not.
You had to pay for the premium package.
That's
The additional channel. But
and convincing your parents to get BET. Yeah.
And
in high school,
as BG Indian kids, and they ask you what's BET, we say Black Entertainment Television. Like, what?
Yeah, you're lucky if you got cable. Let alone BET. Yeah. Anything past 13, you were rich.
Good luck.
But yeah, no, so I remember buying this album real time. And but I didn't appreciate it for what it's worth. So I'm glad that you brought this back into the limelight. I listened to the hit songs. We were just talking about that earlier, and that was great. But I didn't listen to the whole album, and that's the honest truth. But mind you, I did that with a lot of albums because back then you had to buy the album to get the song.
Yep.
Like singles, you could get in the States, but here not so much. So you would almost have to buy the album if you wanted to hear that song. Yeah. So I bought all these albums for one or two songs, and now that we're doing this, which is great, now we're revisiting these albums, and I can actually go through them and be like, oh wow, it is really good or better or it's trash.
The memory of the purchase is pretty vivid. So, you remember Daga?
Of course.
It was just his birthday last week, RIP Daga Muffin. And I remember when this album came out, it was me, my ex, and Daga Muffin.
Right.
And all three of us went, and we all bought a copy each.
Nice.
Put it in the car, and right away started playing it. And the thing, I don't really remember much about the experience listening to the album. The one thing that I remember standing out was X Factor and how time just stops. We'll get into X Factor. That's one of the greatest songs of all time. But let's start with the jump off, which is the introduction, which is a 47-second skit, I guess you could say. It's a skit, introduction skit.
Right.
That kind of takes place in the classroom.
Right. So it's so because the album's titled Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, Lauryn Hill actually had a group of kids at her house in New York, and she sanctioned a friend of hers, and I'm just getting his name, but he is actually now the mayor of New Jersey.
Damn.
Yeah. So he was an American poet, and now he's a politician. His name is Raz Baraka, and his dad was a huge activist and poet, and he touched a lot of nerves because he hit a lot of white and black racism. So Raz Baraka was a teacher too. So he was at Lauryn Hill's home with a group of kids, and he was just talking about love and getting their reaction. So throughout the album, not just the intro, but throughout the album, at the end of certain songs, they go back to the classroom and then he hits another topic, and it's nice because
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's a great piece of
information. It's very innocent, but at the same time, it's interesting because she really brought it to she not just titled the album for the sake of it. She really incorporated the education.
Yeah.
Kids and all
that. I think with the album cover art, you can see right above me here. The album art is basically her face, and it's carved into a desk.
That's right.
With the little pencil.
I saw that. With the holder, yeah.
Very cool.
And you know what? I didn't even know that until just now. I didn't until reviewing the album. I remember looking at the album just saying, just the cover, and then like Alite pointed out, it's actually a desk. Yeah. It's an old school desk. Yeah. That's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, and it's very intricate.
It's very well thought out.
So you as a purchaser of hip hop, you didn't buy a lot of CDs. So what made you buy this album? Was it the impact that she had done with the Fugees?
Yeah. So
or was it because of the song or two that you heard and you liked?
All the important women in my life at the time were obsessed with Lauryn Hill, and it created a feeling of like more than an album. This felt like a moment in history.
So did you buy it for the sake of supporting feminism, or did you buy it for your?
I bought it for 2 reasons. I bought it for the historical aspect because I knew it was something different,
Right.
and I bought it because the song X Factor it fucked me up.
Yeah.
It did things to my brain, and to this day, cruising around in the car, X Factor comes on is one song I will never skip.
Right.
It's just magic every single time.
Right.
So, yeah, I feel like it's something that you have to have in your collection if you're a music fan.
I totally agree. So the intro, classroom vibe, really nice guitar instrumental in the background. I like that. I give it a 5 out of 5 C's.
Yeah, very whimsical. Great way to make the album jump off. You feel like a sense of hope coming into it.
Yeah.
So that felt really good. Yes, there's no questions. Great jump off.
Track number 2, classic, Lost Ones. For me, the beat reminded me of The Bridge Is Over by Boogie Down Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Like there was something there. It's not a sample, but it had that feel.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah.
Flawless delivery as far as rapping is concerned. Just flawless. At the end of the song, we have some more classroom discussion. The song ends and then the classroom discussion begins. So you get a little bit of that. I did not know this, and you probably did, but this is a diss song. You know that?
This is not the diss song to Pac, is it?
No, it's the diss song to Wyclef, her ex.
Right.
From the Fugees. And if you know Wyclef Jean, he was a member of, or is a member of the Fugees, and him and Lauryn Hill had a relationship.
Lauryn Hill was in love with this man.
Correct. And it was a bad breakup. It was very bad. So yeah, it's actually an indirect diss song towards him, and Lost Ones is that there is him. He's the lost one in the relationship, which is interesting. Complex Magazine rated this song as the best rap song of all time by a female MC.
Wow.
That's huge culture. It's not Billboard Magazine.
Complex is a tastemaker for sure. Yeah.
So that's
damn.
Do you agree with that? That's a huge statement.
I honestly don't even think I've ever thought of that.
That's a huge statement.
I mean, if it's not the number one, it's got to be pretty fucking close.
I would agree. You're right. I would really have to go through my catalog of female MCs.
Yeah,
because you got a lot. Missy, Little Kid.
You got to talk about Afro Puffs, right? Like that is one of the greatest hip hop songs made by a woman.
True.
Right. So I mean, UNITY is one of those.
Little Kim Lighters Up. Fresh on you. Like, right?
It's tough.
Missy the Rain.
Foxy, gotta get you home.
You're right.
It's tough.
It's tough.
But this is definitely in the running.
Right.
So let's I always like reading the lyrics of MCs. So the jump off is funny how money changes situation. Miscommunication leads to complication. My emancipation don't fit your equation. I was on the humble you on every station. Like the cadence she creates in this rap feels very, very new. Like I haven't heard this cadence from a female rapper before. Like there are other songs on the album where I'm listening to her and I hear Nas.
True.
Whoa, what the fuck? That's exactly like Nas's flow. But this song, I feel like she found her most original voice. It doesn't sound like it's really influenced by anybody else.
Right.
I feel like there's a little Wyclef in there.
Right.
Because you're using the patois.
Yeah.
But outside of that, this is peak Lauryn.
Or it could be her connection to Ron Marley, who then she ended up with her baby daddy.
Yeah.
So it's tough. But do you think heartbreak sometimes brings out the best from
absolutely
or tragedy?
Dude, pain is like your pen's best friend.
Yeah.
Because if you're drawing from pain, your pen just moves without you even thinking about it. Right. Like it just kind of creates its own thing. And it's so funny. I was having this conversation, like this existential crisis conversation, with my girl. We were talking about how, the brain is separate from the body.
Right. The
body's its own thing. The brain's its own thing. And when you have pain, like emotional pain, it doesn't affect the body. It affects that other thing that's inside you.
It's true.
So that whatever that connection is, if you're an artist, or even if you're not an artist, some people just journal and get it on that way. Yeah. But when you're an artist and you draw from pain, you say shit like, you might lose some, but you just lost one. You might win some, but you just lost one.
It's a dope chorus.
That's a shot. Yeah. That's a big shot.
And it's funny you mentioned Nas because there was some references to Nas being an early inspiration to her.
It shows
for the album.
There are some songs we're talking about on this album where you'd be like, yeah, that's 100% influenced by Nas.
Right.
But this one, I mean, this one's easy. This is a straight 5.
Straight 5.
One of the best songs in the game.
5 out of 5 CDs.
Lauryn rocked it.
Yeah. Okay, and then we go on to track number 3.
Everybody that's watching, if the audio is coming through correctly at all, please let us know. I'm trying to make sure that we have all the production game tight. Yes. We're trying to find the perfect balance. I can't hear it as we're doing it live, so if you do hear it's a little bit funny or messy, make sure you let me know in the comments. Also, let us know what you think of songs as we go through them as well.
Yeah. So fact number 3 is called X Factor. Now, before we get into that, a couple more fun facts, if I may. The album was released actually in 1998, August 19th, 1998. Rough House Records, Columbia Records.
Years ago.
Her debut album as a solo artist. Now, she was part of the Fugees, and they had released 2 studio albums prior to that, but for her,
The Score being one of the greatest.
Mm-hmm. So this album was one of the first albums in the newly created genre called neo soul.
Yeah.
Now, do you know much about neo soul? I feel
I would say they kind of loosely categorize it as the Erykah Badu's, the Jill Scotts. Maxwell kind of gets mixed up into that mix. Remember Bilal?
You literally hit 2 out of 3. So,
yeah.
So the pioneers were Maxwell, Erykah Badu, and D'Angelo.
Sure.
And then she was number 4th in that. So, and you can tell because the album does have that vibe. So neo soul. So the album has a lot of neo soul aspects, and you can hear it. It's all over the map. The album debuted number 1 on the U.S. Billboard 200. First week sales of 422,000 copies. We're talking like 1998, selling almost 500,000 gold in a week. Like, and this is hard. Like CDs. This is not streaming.
Physical albums.
This is not downloads. This is you going to the store and buying either the vinyl or the CD or the cassette tape. Yeah, I mean that's crazy.
Millions.
That's crazy.
And what? How many Grammy nods?
So going back to sales, so now currently it's sold over 10 million units.
Damn!
In the States.
That's
alone,
diamond.
and 20 million copies worldwide.
Wow.
That's
queen. That's monstrous.
Yeah. So for Grammys,
representation for hip hop.
Yeah, there's so much.
I know she had 5 nominations.
She did. She won 5 Grammys.
Yeah.
And she became the first female artist with the most wins in a single ceremony at that time.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
That's MJ numbers right there.
That's
off of what album? So this song, X Factor, I don't know, y'all. Like, okay, I think that if you are a fan of R&B music, if you're a fan of music, this song, X Factor, is one of the most impactful songs for me personally that I've ever heard. I know this one is a direct song for Wyclef. This one is written as like a breakup song.
It is. And this song incorporates a lot of singing.
And not just singing, the kind of singing that rips your fucking heart out of your chest.
Right.
Dude, just the first time, it could all be so simple. Oh my God.
So I'm testing your hip hop knowledge. Where is this? There's a sample in the song. And you just said it.
Woo, eh?
That's right. The beat is a slowed down kind of beat, also simple. The whole beat is the beat. That's the beat.
Is it really?
Yes, it is. Listen, think about it. Listen to it again. The background beat. It's just slowed down.
I have to hear the whole side by side.
When you hear it, you're gonna be like, "Oh wow!"
Did you hear what he just said? The Can It Be All So Simple Wu-Tang Clan beat is X Factor slowed down. If y'all find a clip of those two, post them up for me because I gotta hear this.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
this song, when she goes into the okay, can I just say she introduced the word reciprocity to so many kids who never knew what the fuck it
I don't
was.
even know it. Sorry, I don't know it.
And the thing is, it's not just the word.
Is that attached to reciprocate?
Exactly what it is.
Okay.
So it's so funny because she didn't use the word in the correct syllable layout.
Right.
She goes to get some reciprocity.
So it's not a real word?
It is a real word.
It is a real
but the way
okay.
she separated it,
Right.
you have to be like, wait, what word is that? You have to actually know that the word exists to get to the word.
So to make it rhyme, she became creative. So is that the difference between a good and a dope MC?
Yeah, that separates the guys that just write rhymes
Right.
to the ones that actually think about how rhymes are going to affect people.
Right.
Because this is some of the greatest songwriting for me personally, I think, ever. This is the song that stays in my catalog to this day. You can go to my Spotify playlist. It's under Alite, ALITE. There's a daily vibes playlist. Feel free to subscribe. I put dope shit on there. It's on every playlist. X Factor's on every playlist.
Do you need to have an X to appreciate it more?
Ooh, that's a good fucking question.
Or can you just appreciate it for what it is?
What do you think?
I mean, I never thought of it as because, like I said, at that time I wasn't listening to it for that. I wasn't so deep into it. I was just like, oh, this got a good beat. She's rapping, great. Now I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm like, oh wow, it's really deep.
It's deep and super toxic.
Yeah, at the same time.
Yeah. And
Yes. It is toxic.
And when I try to walk away, you hurt yourself to make me stay.
Right.
Is a relationship that you obviously, people that have dealt with narcissists in their lives have essentially had this happen.
Yeah.
Where they believe that the value of their life is worth more than everything else.
Right.
And honestly, this is one of those songs when she says, "Go in, care for me, craft me." You know, it's just fine. This is fine. This is fine. It's a great fucking song. If you haven't heard it, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, I'm gonna put this link in the comments.
Yeah, you shouldn't be watching it if you haven't heard this song. You go to another channel. I mean, this album, like I said, monumental. The song is, it's a five.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable. And Drake actually used that chorus in his song "Nice for What." Remember?
Right. Right.
Drake even said that she was a huge inspiration to, and she kind of led that charge of rapping and singing, right? Before it was popular.
And then here's the thing about that, right? I think
who did it before her?
No, nobody.
I mean, I'm not talking about females.
Yeah,
I'm talking about male.
Okay, so it's not even the fact that she does both; it's the quality of what she does. Like there's some like Pharrell is a great producer.
Yeah,
he's a really good rapper. He's a mid singer. Lauryn Hill is a phenomenal singer.
Yeah, like Drake is a mid to low singer. He's not,
right.
He's not horrible, but he's not great.
And then she's a phenomenal rapper.
Yeah.
It's very rare to have the peak of both things.
And I forgot to say that she wrote and produced every track of this album.
Now, here's the thing. There's this group that has taken Lauryn Hill to court.
Oh, they're challenging that?
Okay, so before we even get there, let's just shout out everybody in the room. We got a captive audience tonight. We got Umair in the place. We got Champagne OG in the place. We got Shane. They're kicking it with us while we go into this Lauryn Hill album. But yeah, there's a group of artists. You know Robert Glasper?
No.
So Robert Glasper is kind of like this era's Quincy Jones.
Oh, okay.
He puts a lot of amazing collabs together with like Kendrick and all these other really significant artists. And he knows a lot of the musicians that worked on the Lauryn Hill album that did not get credited. So there were three other artists that claim that they produced and played, because this album is almost all live instruments.
Right.
So there were a lot of session artists that came in and played, and there weren't a lot of credits given to those guys. So as far as the writing on the album goes, so for a long time I believe that these guys wrote as well, but it turns out that Lauryn did almost all the writing. Right. But the music
is not all.
No. She's very in charge of the direction where things go. But the actual playing and the composing and all that was done by a group of other artists. I can't remember the name of the group. They're three kind of like they're like remember the hit makers to make songs for everybody? Yeah. They're like that. But they worked exclusively with Lauryn at that time. So that part of it diminishes it a little bit.
Do you believe that?
For sure, because they won the lawsuit.
Oh, they did. Oh, okay.
They won like $5 million in a civil suit.
Oh, wow.
And then they won money, but they never won the change in the credits. So if you go in the credits, it's still all Lauryn all the way down.
Yeah, and that's right, because I saw it, and it was all Lauryn.
Yeah.
It did credit people who played instruments.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, in the liner notes, but that's
Anybody. Yeah. So it's different when you're in the line notes. It's different when you're actually giving it credit, right? So have you ever seen her live?
I have not.
So before we get into the next
That'd
song,
be epic.
which is True Zion, a quick story about Lauryn live. So we got to see her at the Jazz Fest in Vancouver. So she,
How long ago?
This is 2018.
Okay.
She performed at
So
Queen Elizabeth Theater. Yeah, it's fairly recent.
Yeah.
This is when she just started to return back to touring full time. So first, amazing show. She is obviously one of the most talented humans on earth, right? The things she can do on stage, very few people can do. But there's things that you notice about her on stage where you're like, I see why people fucking hate her.
Really?
Okay, so
I see a lot of narcissistic things.
dude, she's doing one song, and like she is just glammed out, big beautiful dress, face on point.
Yeah.
Mike standing in front of her. There's a little stool behind her.
Is she got the fro Lauryn, or she got the dress?
So she was pro Lauryn,
yeah, right.
but she was wearing a headpiece. So you can see it.
Okay.
So she's the song she was doing. Everything is everything. She's doing everything is everything. We're sitting there, she's sweating, just glistening, and she goes like this. She points to the side of the stage while she's singing.
Right.
So she's putting. A guy runs out with a fan, like a adjustable fan. Puts it on the ground, turns it on, runs back.
Wow.
She still singing, points at it again, and she's going like this, like move it, tilt it, and he's doing it, and then she looks at him and she goes like this, and she's points, and he just runs off stage. So like, and the thing is, it didn't interrupt the performance. She still performed. She's still singing. She's just, executing everything around her.
Right.
I mean, that would be difficult to work with.
Yeah, that's. I mean, she could have waited until the track was over. Right?
I mean, just a million ways she could have did it.
Yeah.
Right. She could have did something subtle.
Yeah.
And then like go.
I think if you're a performer, you gotta overcome sometimes things happen, and you gotta kind of go with it. Right?
Yeah. There was some of that kind of command, and there were a couple of times with the band where she was like, really demanding of the band, and a couple of moments I'm like, okay. And the thing is like, cool, I get it. I'm obsessed with MJ. Right. This is a great example of MJ's creativity. He does all that shit behind the scenes. So by the time you get to the stage, flawless.
And you've never heard of him being rude to people.
It shows him.
He's very.
You remember this, is it?
Yeah, of course.
It shows him talking to the session artist. He's super kind. He's very demanding.
Yeah,
but he's very kind in his approach.
Yeah,
and I think depending on who you are as a person, your popularity or your acclaim can either amplify the worst parts of you or the best parts of you.
Right.
And I think sometimes you just get caught up being.
So you witnessed that.
Yeah.
Did it change your perception about it?
No, because it was phenomenal to watch.
Right.
It ate it up.
It's funny you say that because another fun fact about the album is initially when she was going to do the solo album, Columbia Records said, we want the RZA to produce the whole album. So they had approached her. And she said, no, I'm going to produce it. And they said, well, you haven't really produced before. We don't know. RZA is, at that time, RZA's still a monumental producer, but RZA, if you don't know, one of the members of Wu-Tang Clan,
chief executive,
and basically the curator of the sound of Wu-Tang Clan, which is
all him.
An epic sound.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't. When you hear a Wu-Tang beat or a RZA beat, you know it's a RZA beat.
36 Chambers is going to be so much fun to do.
Oh, okay.
Can't wait.
So yeah, but when you listen to the album, there's a lot of Wu-Tang samples. There's like Wu-Tang samples, and it does have some of the songs do have a RZA feel.
It's very East Coast feel.
It's super East Coast.
Yeah.
So that's funny. But she took control. And
good decision, I guess. I mean, that's a fan thing when we're like, oh, RZA, Lauryn. It still sounds good.
It sounds good. But now it's watered down for me because you've said that it wasn't really all her. So now live, real time, my perception has changed a little bit.
Right.
Because I feel like you shouldn't take credit for things that you haven't done.
Yeah.
Even if you orchestrated it, you haven't done the music per se. You said, I want this, that, and this. I mean, you work with producers.
Yeah.
You won't take credit for something you haven't done.
The hell no.
Right? So, but anyways, nonetheless, 5 out of 5, right?
Yes.
For me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Track number 4, To Zion. So Zion's her firstborn son with Rowan Marley. who is the son of the late great Bob Marley. Are you a Bob Marley fan?
Huge.
Now, did you get into Bob Marley when you started getting into, like, when you started smoking up, or were you a Bob Marley fan before that? Because
I was a Bob Marley fan because of my dad initially introducing me to it. It's not like he liked it, but he tolerated it and while he played. And then your dad was like the big catalyst because he made me understand like why Bob Marley was cool.
Right.
Same way he made me realize John Lennon was cool.
Right.
He made that the activist side of them feel appealing. So Bob Marley, yeah, I've been down with Bob from young teens.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Bob Marley, I got into him later on. But yeah, I mean, just activists and just songs that are timeless, right? Legends, beautiful stuff. So anyways, so yeah, that to Zion. So obviously, the song is to her firstborn child. Now it's funny because she had contemplated having an abortion because she got pregnant during the making of the album, and she said she contemplated it because she thought her career was going to be. She was just starting her career, and now she's got a baby. She's a mom.
Everything changes.
It's different because a male rapper, he can have 10 million kids and he'll be a star. But for a female, it's that stigma, right? Because you're right. You got to be a mom.
100%. So how dare you have a career in life?
Thank you. Right. So that was her dilemma, but she decided to, and that's why the song was important for her to do, because it was dedicated to him, because the pregnancy had changed her whole outlook on her career and everything that went into it. The song has a feature, first feature of the album, and it's Carlos Santana. Now, you a Carlos Santana fan?
I'm a Carlos Santana fan. I don't know a lot of his music. I know more of his collabs.
Right.
I've done some YouTube deep dives just to see like old school clips of him, because he was like Jimi Hendrix, right? He would get high as fuck and just play.
Right.
So I think in that way he's really cool. But I gotta be honest, man. Like, this song is boring as fuck. Boring as fuck. I don't like it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't hear that.
And dude, the religious part of it for me, because it's obviously very spiritual.
It is.
And Zion had a double meaning, right?
Yes.
Zion is like,
Zionism, right?
No, Zion is in reggae and like raga, like, what am I saying, man? In I keep thinking Dagamuffin. In
Jamaican
in Rastafari culture,
right?
Cannabis. In Rastafari culture, Zion is like the whole man, right?
I didn't know that.
So that's the connection to the religious part of it. But dude, like, Carlos Santana is so talented. I don't know, man. Sound is nothing for me.
I like the guitar feature. So Carlos Santana was part of a group called Santana, famous, I want to say rock folk group.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Folk.
A lot of twist to it.
One of the best guitarists of all time.
Sure.
So I thought the guitar was great in the song. There was a gospel choir in the song as well, which I thought she used it well. It had a gospel feel to it. And I think that's because it was kind of biblical in the sense of her son and and all that.
Sure.
And she's a very spiritual person, and she does refer to the Bible a lot in this album.
Good.
Scriptures and whatnot.
Keep it over that.
For me, I gave it. I actually gave it a 4 out of 5 because I like the music.
For sure.
But I understand what you're saying. But so what do you give it?
2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you shocked by that?
Yeah, maybe I was kind of annoyed because like I don't remember this song from the first listen.
Right.
So I started listening to it on Monday, and I'm like, oh, how did I miss Carlos Santana? And then it's playing, I'm like, oh, that's why I missed it. It was one of those I skipped all the time.
And that's what I did. Like when I bought the album, I listened to three, maybe 4 songs.
Yeah.
And I didn't listen to anything else.
Yeah.
So again, okay. Couple more fun facts for the album. The album was selected for inclusion at a multitude of cultural institutions, including the Library of Congress, the Smithsonian, and the Grammy Hall of Fame. So they actually placed this album in these historical, like, that's impressive.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
That's that shit.
Lauryn Hill was. She appeared on the cover of Time magazine in 1999, becoming the first, not just female, but the first rapper to be on the cover.
Wow.
Time magazine is a monumental magazine. Like if you at one time if you made the cover, yeah, I know. Yeah. But then you had Obama, and then you had you had to be a somebody.
Yeah, you had to be shifting the culture.
And for a female rapper to be on the cover of Time in 1999, that's crazy. The album spent a total of 92 weeks on the Billboard Top 200, which means that was almost 2 years. It was on the. I mean,
that's unreal.
Can an album now be? I mean, maybe if you're a Kendrick, you have to be a giant.
Yeah, for sure.
Back then, that was impossible.
Crazy,
right? That was
crazy run. That's like an MJ run.
100%.
Yeah.
Also, the album remains the only rap album by a woman to spend over 1 week at #1 on the Billboard charts, and yeah, I mean,
unreal.
It's
the album came with. It's rare that the album comes with the quality music and all the stats.
Yes,
she killed it.
Yes.
Like, this next song.
Okay. Track number 5. So this is my favorite track of the album, and it's a no-brainer. Song is titled "Do-Wop." That thing.
My God.
First hip hop song ever in history to debut at #1 on the Billboard Top 100. Not the top 100 hip hop, the top 100 of every genre. So the first hip hop song ever in history. So basically, before 1998, there was no hip hop songs that topped the charts. Now it's a normal. Now the top 10 of the top 100 can be all hip hop. Like if a Drake or a Kendrick release an album, you could have all 10 tracks.
Or a Playboy Cardi, and all these.
Yeah.
For #1 now. Yeah.
And they can have all their tracks from #1 to 10. That actually happened.
Yeah.
So that was a huge thing. Some more classroom discussion at the end of the song when the song is finished.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pure homage to the 60s doo-wop / R&B music, Motown. The video is amazing. If you haven't seen the video, you gotta watch the video ahead of its time. So it's got a split screen of her in 60s garb, 60s doo-wop garb, like Diana Ross and Screams, right? That kind of era. Aretha Franklin, right?
So fine in it.
And then the other screen is her in real time, right?
Yeah.
Amazing video, amazing song.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a perfectly executed song in every facet of
and dude,
for production.
Shout out to all the Muzzies in the beginning. Yeah. Don't forget about Dean.
Yeah.
Mustaqeen. Come on, man.
5 out of 5.
What a jump off.
Your thoughts on the song?
This is one of the greatest songs of all time, I think. Not just hip hop. I think just overall, it's one of the greatest songs of all time. I think it might be the perfect blend of R&B and hip hop. Like, I don't think there's a better example. Maybe You're All I Need. Matt and Mary.
That's pretty good.
I think that's like one of those. But this song, and
as far as an upbeat song, this makes it
right. It's a pop song. It's a hip hop song. It's an R&B song, and it does it all perfectly.
Like I said, when we used to go clubbing, they were playing this song in the clubs,
and it's got a message.
And people were loving it. Right?
And it's got a message. Like the stuff that she says on this.
Yeah.
You talk about, misogyny and sexual abuse and being in toxic relationships.
Religion.
Like, it's
got a little bit of everything.
It's a masterpiece.
So you're rating on it?
5. Easy.
Yeah. Track number 6, Superstar. So there's a sample on there by a group called The Doors. You know anything about The Doors?
That's that dude, Jim Morrison?
Correct.
He was lead singer. Correct. He died. I know he died young.
Yes, he did.
I don't think they got one good song that I like. I can't remember what it's called.
Light My Fire.
No.
That was there. That was
Wake On Through to the Other Side.
Oh, that was that's right. So that one and Come On Baby, Light My Fire.
Yeah,
those were the two hit songs. So they were like they were in the genre of like Janis Joplin.
Yeah,
Janis. It was that acid, like you're on acid, like 70s type of a.
Jimi Hendrix in there too.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix, right. So it had a distinctive sound, and the Doors were iconic. They only released, I think, 1 or 2, but they were iconic.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, the sample is from "Light My Fire," the Doors single, and the hook when she says, "Come
on, baby,"
the shimmy, right? It reminds me of ODB, shimmy, shimmy. Shimmy. That there's for me that I saw it's kind of an inspiration. Great use of the sample.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, it's a solid song. I give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, not my favorite. She did some cool stuff in it. The writing is really good. The melody doesn't really hit for me like some of the other melodies on the album, but overall, like you said, very solid. I would give it a 3.5.
Okay. Track number 7, Final Hour. So this has a sample from Prince's 1999, which is a great song.
Mm-hmm.
And the beat reminded me of a Wu-Tang beat. I don't know why. It just had that Wu-Tang feel to it. The hook was great. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I liked it. I liked it musically. I liked it.
Yeah, this is one of those songs that I don't remember hearing on the first time around. Again, like, you know, we just got to the songs that we really love, just repeat. But yeah, this is a great song. She kills it lyrically on this. Some of the better writing that she's done. Like, I'm just looking at the lyrics on Genius.com, and I'm just reading them like they're just written by, you know, but not as music, and it's brilliant. She's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I agree. This is a 4.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Track number 8, When It Hurt So Bad. Obviously, just reading the title, you know, it's gonna be about heartbreak. I didn't love it. It was okay. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I mean, there's really not much to say about it. I mean, it's definitely one of those songs. If you've gone through that type of heartbreak, you're gonna feel it. I don't know if I have, and if I have, I guess it doesn't really resonate with me. But it wasn't bad. It was, like I said, still 3 out of 5.
But if you've had a relationship with a little bit of toxicity in it, when she says when it hurts so bad, why does it feel so good?
Yeah.
No, what she means.
So you can relate to it. Is that what you're saying?
So heavy. Yeah. But again, you're right. It's not the greatest song.
Right.
I feel like some of the melody, like this is kind of rehashed material from some of the better stuff. Like X Factor does this way better. Right. So, but there's just things that she does vocally that just. Oof.
So I think this song really does connect with people who have gone through that.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you give?
This is a 4 for me.
Okay, good. Track number 9, titled "I Used to Love Him." Another feature, Mary J. Blige. So I mean, you literally have 2 queens of the game. I'm a huge Mary J. Blige fan. Are you?
Yeah, Mary is.
I've seen her live, and she's amazing.
Yeah,
and she's somewhat neo soul too. Right?
Yeah,
and she's
a little more R&B because we got her during the Josie era.
That's true.
So she's got like a really 90s R&B
uptown era. And a lot of people say that she's the first lady of hip hop in that sense of R&B hip hop.
I mean, I can't disagree
because a lot of her music was hip hop inspired
for sure,
and that was because
on hip hop beats.
You know, Puff and the Hitman, like that early, you know, that the Johnny
has been locked up,
Jodeci's.
Yeah,
but then you know she dressed hip hop. She was hip hop. She wore the bandana. She wasn't shy.
She got the face scar and all that.
She really wasn't shy about it.
Yeah,
but anyways, I thought it was a great person to have as a leader. And it really showed that Lauryn Hill was not intimidated because to put Mary J. Blige on a single, and this is your first solo album, you really need to like match with her, because she can take away the song, But she was with her. It had, do you know the sample that it has on it? Do you recognize the sample? No. So there's a sample from Raekwon's song from Wu-Tang Clan, "Ice Cream." There's a small sample that they keep repeating. I didn't like the sample. I thought it was used in a very lazy fashion.
I didn't go back and listen to it.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the way they used the sample because they only took a small portion of it and they kept looping it.
Yeah,
I didn't like it. But I like Mary J. Blige. I thought she was great, and because of that, I give it a 3 out of 5. I think if she was not on it, I'd probably give it a lower score.
Yeah, again, this is one of those songs that when I saw the track listing, I was like, how do I miss her and Mary doing a song together? And then again, same thing, man. I go back to the song, I'm like, okay. The good stuff that I like about the song is that they sang the verse together.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like Lauryn did a verse, Mary did a verse. They sang in one large verse together. And I think that's cool because the voices, tonality are very different. You know when Lauryn comes in, you know when Mary comes in. And I like that part of it. I think the song just doesn't do anything else for me other than that. So I'd give it a 3.
Okay, track number 10, "Forgive Them, Father." So Father being biblically God, I'm assuming. Bob Marley sample, "Concrete Jungle." Now, I'm familiar with that Bob Marley sample.
Yeah.
I'm not. I wasn't. So I went back and listened to that. And then Amazing song.
It's a great song.
A lot of biblical reference to the song, obviously because of the title. I liked it. I thought it was. I don't know. I don't know if it was. What was it? Do you think it was a cleansing song for her? Like, or she's saying, "Forgive them, Father." So what is she saying for society as a whole, or Black people, or what is she? Who is she targeting here?
See, the thing is, for me, I didn't even really give it that much space. The songs for me, just I'm not big on the religious songs. If I don't resonate to it musically, the religious aspect of it just kills the song for me. So I didn't really. I listened to it. I'm kind of like, this feels very like accusational. Like, okay, if you look at some of these lyrics, beware the false motives of others, be careful of those who pretend to be brothers, and you never suppose it's those who are closest to you. You know, like, there's a lot of really, feels a little mean spirited, feels a little hypocritical.
Judgy?
Yeah. I'm not, like, even if you go to the second verse, why every Indian want to be the chief, feed a man till he full, and he still won't be, give me grief. And
I mean, it's a clever play on words.
He's a great writer. Yeah. Great writer. The writing is great.
You don't like the religious aspect of it. Yeah, fair enough. I give it a 4 out of 10. Yeah. I like the music. I mean, the sample was good.
3 for me.
Okay. Track number 11. So the going back to the album, that it's got a total of 16 tracks. Now there were some overseas releases that had some extra tracks on them. The actual album had a total of 16 tracks, and the running time on it was 74 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Long album.
Yeah. So 77:39 to be exact. Sorry.
Subscribe.
So track number 11. Every ghetto, every city. So there's a theme here, right? In the album, like there's an activist
absolutely
theme here.
Absolutely.
And
revolutionary.
How do you like that?
I love when people put their activism in their music.
Yeah.
I think it's important when artists have a profile and you have something to say that you say it, but you don't shy away from that stuff, right?
Yeah.
This feels like I feel Stevie Wonder all over the song.
Wow. Okay.
I feel Stevie in the way she uses the melodies. I feel Stevie in the way she uses the cadence.
And you're a huge Stevie Wonder
monster Stevie Wonder. So yeah, I feel like this is a really solid contribution to the album. Again, musically, it's not one of those that blew me away.
I agree.
Right? Like, but the writing on it's fantastic. What she did on the track, as far as the methods that she was delivering, is great.
I got a lot of inspiration and hope, like for the song. Like, like we can do things.
Yeah.
Would you consider her like very pro-Black? Right?
Sure.
She's not shy about that.
No. Unapologetic.
And she does it in a very classy way.
Well, I mean,
she's not hating on any other race. She's just saying she's very proud of her race, and she's showing the negative impacts that are happening in not just her neighborhood, but just in the culture.
Yeah.
And she's pointing them out.
Yeah,
when a lot of people weren't.
She's got a great lens.
Yeah.
The way she sees things is amazing.
Right.
I think there's parts of her music that inspire a lot of hope. But then you can also see, like, she's got a lot of darkness.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs expose a lot of her darkness. This is one of those songs where I feel like she said everything that she wanted to say.
Yeah.
And didn't really put any emotional slant to it. I feel like she just wrote a song with solid observations of what's happening. Right? And I to me that's interesting because there's stuff like that I try to do on my album. I have a song called Just Staying Safe, and I try to write about something very serious from a non-emotional perspective, and just try and put out facts in a way that people can listen to in rhyme form.
Right.
And I feel like she did a phenomenal job with that on this.
So the hook is she goes, welcome back, and that reminded me of a TV show called Welcome Back, Kotter, back in the 70s with my parents. And the theme song of that was Welcome Back, Welcome Back, Welcome. So that kind of just reminded me of that. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I liked it. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
This is the 4 for me.
Okay.
I think it's really interesting. If you listen to the song, you'll hear. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Lauryn or this album or the song, she references New Jerusalem frequently, And it's not Jerusalem in the sense of current day genocidal state. Jerusalem is more reference to the Ashkenazi Jews, who a lot of Black people believe are Black Jews from a certain area of Africa. So when you hear the song, she's not out here giving props to apartheid states, just to be clear.
Now, did you get that when you first listened to the album?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and not because of me. Yeah. Not because of me. Because the people I was around at that time were very, very like uplifted and connected.
Right.
This was the time when like I really started to do a lot of activism and like make signs and protest and do all that other stuff.
Your feet wet.
Yeah. So the people that I had around me, the organizers, when they would talk about this album, their perspective was way bigger.
Right.
And I needed to see people talk about it like that to get it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have that perspective. So
do you see any album from a female artist that in today's time that compares to this, as far as the content is concerned?
Okay, so Rhapsody had an album. I think it was 2019. She had an album where all of the song titles were different. Incredible women she was inspired by.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
like Rosa Parks and stuff like that.
Yeah, so yeah, I think Oprah was one of the songs. There's a whole bunch of different references that she uses, and that album, I think the album is called Marlena. I think don't quote me if I'm wrong, but yeah, she had an album that was just as monumental. I think she won a Grammy for that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it had the same mission. Lauryn's just got that.
So that magic. So that would be the only album from a female artist.
I don't think so, man. That contributed in that way. Yeah. Obviously, there's other albums that are culturally popular. Of course. Right? Like Cardi B's album was hugely popular.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Massively popular. But they're not shifting culture, right?
Now, I think that's what that is. That we're not getting more of that content? Stripper club kind of music. I mean,
I don't think so because
but we're not getting the content.
I don't think so because I think that's just in that social media zeitgeist. I think in the real world, these artists can cater right to their own fan bases and not have to worry about that crossover unless they want to win Grammys, unless they want to win AMAs. Like a lot of artists don't give a shit.
No, you're right.
If they have 100,000 fans and they can tour 6 months out of the year, you have make a living delivering your music. And I think a lot of artists understand that now and don't give a shit as much.
Right.
I mean, obviously every artist wants to be, streaming the most.
Of course.
But if you don't,
the landscape's changed.
Yeah. If you don't, you can feed yourself. I think that's sufficient.
But as a hip hop fan, would you like to see more female MCs kind of touch base on something a little bit different? Like a lot of people say Doechie's doing that right now.
Yeah.
I see a little bit of it, but it's nothing like this.
Yeah, for sure. I think what frustrates me is like Meg Thee Stallion can spit.
Yeah.
Like she can really rap.
Right.
She got bars, she got great cadence deliveries. But I wish artists like her did more. But the shitty thing is if she does, she's not gonna get pushed.
Yeah.
She's not gonna get promoted. They want Meg Thee Stallion with her ass out. If you want her to make music, that's the only way you're gonna get it. Because that's the only way the label's gonna push it to the surface, right?
So what do you think triggered Lauryn to take a chance? Because she was doing it in a much harder time frame.
Yeah.
And she was one of the few female MCs who was doing it at the time. And then on top of that, he's putting out this album that's not really mainstream except for a couple of songs. But he didn't care and she did it. Is that some of her narcissism saying, I don't care? This is what
I also think that this era was not great for music overall, right? There was a lot of like not creative, inventive music. So I think she kind of stole that space.
True.
Yeah.
True. Okay. So track number 12, Nothing Even Matters, featuring one of our favorite artists, D'Angelo. D'Angelo. You don't know Brown Sugar, one of the best R&B songs of all time.
You're My Lady.
You're My Lady.
His Cruising remake is one of the greatest remakes ever.
He's just that guy, and he was one of the original neo soul artists.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so he's so it's a beautiful feature having him on. The vibe that I got from the music, it was kind of like romantic candlelight by the fire.
Yes.
Right? Type of you throw it on and you kind of just. I thought D'Angelo was right. Baby making music, right?
Hell yeah.
So D'Angelo, I thought was really great. He killed it. Overall, it was a little too slow for me. I don't know, but I give it a 3.5. It wasn't bad.
So this one for me is again one of those songs that I don't remember hearing on the first listen.
Right.
But contrary to all of the other ones, I fucking love this song.
You love it now.
When I heard it now, I was like, oh, it's that song. Didn't realize it was part of this album. So bringing it back into the world, like, oh my god, I love this fucking song. Yo.
That's kind of been your R&B trajectory. Really.
There's that baby making shit.
It really is.
Level of it.
Yeah.
D'Angelo's buttery all over it. Lauryn Hill, the balance, blend.
D'Angelo. What do you think?
It's 5.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Fact number 13. Another one of her hit singles from the album that she released officially. Everything is Everything.
Another really cool video too.
Very cool video. Yeah. And the song is just a catchy pop, R&B, hip hop song. It's got a perfect balance.
With the message.
Definitely a message. The flow is impeccable. Yeah. Now there's piano played in the song in the background.
Yeah.
Now, do you know who played the piano?
I do not.
A very, very young John Legend.
Damn!
Credited on the album.
John Legend.
Yeah.
Underrated artist. Huge.
Well then,
because the way he sings, that place, it gives me fully range to do covers, and I love singing shit.
So that's a fun fact. I love it just because it's a banger, musically, sonically. But you're take it deeper with the lyrics and the message for it.
Dude, just the first line. I wrote these words for everyone who struggles in their youth. I would sing it like her, but we've been smoking, and it's gonna sound terrible. Who won't accept deception instead of what is truth. And this is a pop song. Pop songs are rarely written with this level of intelligent writing.
Yeah.
So brilliant.
I mean, 5 out of 5.
5. Easy 5. Perfect. Okay, hold on. I hate going past. We just gotta talk about this one verse. Okay, like, my goodness.
From Everything is Everything.
Yeah, from Everything is Everything.
Proceed.
So the second verse. This is the Nas feel for me.
The Nas, Illmatic Nas, or just Nas in general?
This is Illmatic Nas.
So that real grimy.
Yeah. Yeah, like wishing is more powerful than two Cleopatra's bum graffiti on the tuba Nefertiti and ready to take it to the Serengeti. Yeah. Around is heavy like the mind of Sister Betty. My God. Honestly, some of the most, for me, one of the most fun cadences to use in a rap.
It's almost like it ain't hard to tell. Nas.
Yeah, there's a consistent chopping of flow, and I'm hearing
I see what you're saying.
I'm like, yo, you're right. That's so inspired, which is really cool because they did a song together, which is a fucking amazing song. If I rule the world, but if you want to hear Lauryn at her best penmanship, this right here, unreal. Unreal.
And she incorporates Egypt. She incorporates Malcolm X's wife, Betty Shabazz. She incorporates. I mean, what can she not?
Lost civilizations. It's just like she says. Now hear this mixture where hip hop meets scripture. Develop a negative into a positive picture. We need a bomb drop sound.
We really do.
That's a bomb drop.
Look at that sound effect.
Fuck.
So when I was listening to the album on YouTube, I was looking at sometimes you want to look at the comments just to see how people react to it.
Right.
This one guy made a quote, and I wish I should have gotten the credit for it, but this quote was amazing. So this is how he summed up the album, and this is beautiful. So he said, and I'm quoting: She wasn't miseducated here. In fact, she was teaching, holding class, and that really does sum up the album.
Phenomenal,
right?
Phenomenal.
Because she's teaching us a lesson about
master class.
Like you said, you learned about the
New Jerusalem. Yeah.
And the whole
a lot of Rastafari influence.
Egyptian old school times and black activists like Malcolm X and Betty Shabazz and stuff like that. So it was a lesson in a sense.
It is.
But it was one of those things where it wasn't spoon fed to you.
Yeah.
You were just listening to it, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
And that's the beauty of the musicality, right?
Right.
The musical choices, because it just takes you on this ride. The whole thing is very cohesive.
Would your hip hop listening history, without this album ever being released, would it affect your whole outlook on music? If
Oh,
album
yeah.
did not exist?
Yeah, I can say so for sure. Just based on 3 songs. X Factor, Doo-Wop,
Right.
and
Lost Ones?
and no, and Can't Take My Eyes Off You.
Oh,
Even
right.
though it's the cover.
Right.
Because she like when I write with a lot of melodies.
Right.
And it's really easy to do that when you know it can be done at such a high level. So if she never introduced this kind of quality of writing
Right.
with R&B and hip hop, I probably wouldn't even think about taking chances writing R&B.
So as an MC, did this album inspire you when you were writing any of your
Big
songs?
time.
It did.
Yeah. So when I take inspiration from artists like this, obviously I don't write like Lauryn, I don't sound like Lauryn. You would never hear anything there. But as far as the things she's willing to talk about, the things she's willing to say, the ideas she's willing to attack,
Yeah.
right? Like, not a lot of musicians take shots at the power structures.
Right.
And that's something that I think is crucial artists change the world, right?
Sure.
Artists cause revolutions. Artists are the ones that change people's minds and promote them, put them into action. So whenever you hear artists taking shots at like the power structures and things that really people don't talk about, I get inspired by that. I'm like, oh, she took it there. I can take it there too.
Right.
So when I write, I don't take any chances at all. I just go right at the very fucking top. And artists like this break that open.
So in your musical history, have you incorporated the R&B rap fusion?
Yes, multiple times.
So this is an inspiration in that?
Absolutely.
For you to take that chance?
Yeah, half my first album has R&B hooks.
Right.
This next album that I'm doing now, every song has an R&B hook.
Nice.
So yeah, and R&B cameo as well through the songs. So yeah, absolute inspiration, without a doubt.
Yeah, perfect. Mm-hmm. So what do you give it? What's your rating on it?
For Everything Is Everything.
Everything is everything. 5.
Absolutely.
5 for me. So number 14, title track, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. So officially, this is the last track on the album because the other tracks 15 and 16 were hidden tracks. They were on the album, but they're not. So I don't know how you want to perceive that. But anyways, title track. It's an outro. It's got an outro feeling. It's got a beautiful piano. If you like piano, and I love piano, it's got such a beautiful piano beat in the back. It's a piano solo. It gives me the end of the movie credit feel. Right? That's how I look at it. Right? Yeah. A nice end to a classic.
Yep.
Right? To a masterpiece. You know, when you watch Godfather, watching the credits or else. Yeah, I just got that feeling. So perfectly executed. 4 out of 5. Yeah,
same 4 out of 5. It's nothing that is going to, like, when you talk about the album with people. Yeah, this is not one of the songs they're going to pick up. It's like, oh no, one of my favorites. Definitely. But the contribution to the album is solid.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's face it, this is still better than half the crap that's out there right now.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And I am being offensive. Okay, so track number 15, which Alite had mentioned earlier, Can't Take My Eyes Off You, which is, do you know who sang the original song?
Yeah, I actually do. This is Frankie Valli.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah. And the only reason I know that,
actually, do you like
I don't know enough of it to get into it. The only reason I even know that is because of Daga.
Right.
Because he, like, when we first heard it, I was like, oh, I know that song. And then he plays the original one.
Right.
So that's the only reation I know. But
great singer.
Great singer, beautiful voice.
Yeah. Frankie and Annette.
Lauryn makes it a different song.
I mean, the original is
beautiful song.
And she does use the music. She incorporates the music and the hook. But you're right. I can't use in hip hop. You don't use the word beautiful. Right?
No,
right?
Unless you Keith Murray, yeah,
right. Or it's like a dear love,
right?
Right. You can't. Beautiful and hip hop don't apply. Not always.
No,
but this is the beautiful song. It's like sun hitting your face,
dude. The amount of smiles I've put on women's faces singing this song.
I'm glad you did. Yeah, that's good.
This song is one of the. But the thing is, like, It's so beautiful.
So-
It's so
so-
impactful.
So you're gonna be. So you're saying that you can sing the song at a high level? Is that
I
what
can
it
sing
is?
the song, but the brilliant part of this song is there. You don't have to do what Lauren does, right? Like what Lauren does in this is big. You don't have to. You could just keep it low. Like I would just be like, you're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You keep it nice and low, and that's enough. Right? But when she goes, I need you. I'm not doing that.
From the soul, from the.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, chainsaw to the chest.
Yeah.
She's an absolute monster.
When you did sing this to women, what was the reaction? Like, what do they feel? Like, we feel something. What do women feel?
They get that look. They get the look in their face.
That melting.
They get the look that they're thoroughly enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
And again, he keeps coming up. Again, this is a shout out to Daga Muffin because
R.I.P.
he's the one that showed me that this superpower exists. And quick side story, my homie Jean-Marc Daga, one of the most talented human beings I've ever met in my life.
Amazing person. And one of the funniest people I've ever.
The very first time I ever met him, he came up. I used to work at Hip Hop Connections back in the day. We had a kiosk selling t-shirts, custom hats, and all that stuff. And this dude walks up to the kiosk. He's like, "Yo, man, my name is Jean-Marc Daga. I sing." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. My name is Khalif." And he's like, "You want to hear me sing?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And then he did Stevie Wonder,
right?
My Sherry Amore.
Yeah.
This guy sang My Sherry Amore, and I am a heterosexual male, and I was swooning at this fucking asshole singing the song. When it made me realize right there, you can sing just well enough. You can put that on people.
Now, prior to that, you sang.
Yeah.
You would sang songs from Shy.
Yeah.
You were the top. You were in the
Yeah, I was in the choir.
Yeah. So you love singing.
Yeah.
Did Daga elevate that?
Big time.
You?
Big time.
Yeah.
I learned so much.
Yeah.
I learned how to really use the bravado. I learned how to use the falsetto. I really learned how to use those things because I watched him do it. And he couldn't describe or teach it, but because I could see him do it, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to try that. And then you go back and you fuck up over and over again, and you start to figure out, oh, that's how you do it.
And he introduced you to different
He introduced me to Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, artists that I would have never even considered listening to. Right? Sam Cooke and Al Green and all of these.
Right.
Even a lot of Stevie's catalog, I didn't know.
Yeah,
I just knew songs. But once Daga showed up and I saw Stevie's got like 5 decades of music, right? So yeah, Daga really helped change and shift my perspective on R&B. The same way you did with hip hop.
Yeah.
At that time, there was no other hip hop education.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Daga. Still an inspiration. Still today.
What a man.
So I think I gave it a 5 out of 5.
You know what it is?
5 out of 5.
Beautiful song.
Okay, we're down to the last track. Titled Tell Him. So the beat for this song is my favorite beat.
Okay.
Weird or not, and I wouldn't have said that before because I never really listened to it.
Yeah.
Amazing music. Listen to it if you haven't. My favorite beat, and that's saying a lot because there's so many amazing beats on this album. But for some reason, this music, it just gets me, and I'm like, so now it's going to be on my playlist for future get-togethers and in the car.
Oh, it is.
Great end to an album, officially.
Yeah,
because it's the last track.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just musically, I'm being biased, and I give it a 5 out of 5.
Great song. It's one of those songs that I definitely carried throughout playlists throughout the years. And this is a good example of how you can use religious lyricism in a really pretty song.
Right.
Because there's tons of religious reflection on this. A lot of spiritual content.
I like it because the religious things are not a fan.
And normally I don't. The same way with like Jesus Walks. Like that shouldn't be a good song. The lyrics, it's a banger. It's a banger. Yeah. So like there's ways you can take the feelings from religion and make them really, really good music.
Right.
And this is one of those. I think she did an incredible job. This one feels good, sounds good. Easy 5 for me.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So to summarize the album, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Once again, mentioned this earlier, her only solo album. And 1998. So almost in 3 years, it's going to be 30 years old. So I hate when
crazy, right? I hate when we date things like that. Because that's the only thing that makes me feel old is when we say stupid shit like that. Like we're closer to World War II than we are to 2025.
And the thing is, the album is so, it's, I mean, for me personally, I don't know what you think, but it's still, listening to the whole thing, it still holds up today. Huge.
Yeah, I think if it was released today, it would have the same cultural impact.
I agree.
Phenomenally musical. As far as what she put on it, I think it's one of the most cohesive albums,
100%.
front to back. For this era and any era, it set the stage for so many artists after her. And it kind of like set the bar for what you can do musically.
Right.
For all artists. Like I think J. Cole takes a lot from Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of Lauryn influences in J. Cole music.
He actually was one of the people mentioned that had stated that he was a huge influence.
Yeah, and you can feel it through J. Cole's catalog, you can feel it through his music.
Yeah.
I think if you're an artist that can influence weight, right? That says a lot about your quality.
Right. So right. So culturally, how impactful is this album? Not musically and not genre-wise, but just culturally. Is this, like we were talking about, like for me, the Tyler album is not culturally impactful. The Drake album is not. NWA, for me, and for the culture, they said a lot.
Absolutely.
What's your take on it?
Change culture, change the way people dress.
Yeah.
Right?
Very true.
Set the stage for style because of what she did. As far as wearing her natural hair, set the stage for a lot of Black women that weren't ready to do natural hair.
Right.
See Lauryn Hill out here, just beautiful, glowing, and all of her naturalness. It was like, it's very Eartha Kitt.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's a good example.
The fierceness with which she projected her identity.
Right. She didn't hold back.
Unapologetic.
Yeah.
You fucking love me or you fuck off.
Right.
And you're gonna love Eartha. Like, I watched clips of Eartha Kitt. It's like, it's really phenomenal human.
So what a
voice, what a face, presentation, everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think Lauryn really took that feeling and power of identity and shoved it into people's faces for what it should be for the year 2000 and moving forward.
Yeah. I agree. It's I mean, if you don't know a lot about history and Black history and all the different things that go along with this album, you're gonna learn a lot.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So you already
whether you like it or not.
So you already said your favorite beat on it is Tell Him.
Correct.
My favorite beat is X Factor.
Sorry.
Yeah, that song is just
yeah.
I mean, I want to say favorite verse, but because there's so much R&B on it, we can't really go with favorite verse. What's your favorite song on the album?
Doo-wop. That's my favorite song.
This is a big battle for me because you can play doo-wop anywhere in North America at any club at any time, and it's just gonna jump off. It's one of those songs.
I play it at a get together with family, and everybody knows the song. Everybody knows the words.
Always.
It's just one of those songs, and just musically, it's
fresh. It's so fresh.
Perfect.
Yeah. My favorite song on the album is X Factor.
Nice. Good choice.
It's heart-wrenching. It fucking kills me every time.
Yeah.
I draw from it because of other experiences in my life.
Right.
She speaks to me huge on that song. And I don't think there's any way I could pick anything else. Can't take my eyes off you. It's very, very close, but because X Factor is an original.
Yeah.
And you can freestyle the shit out of that beat.
I didn't even think about it.
Ooh, I spit bars to that beat so well.
Nice.
But yeah, that's my favorite.
So the last fun fact of the album, and I did this myself, so this is not taken from anywhere. I did this. So this is how we're not old, because we look amazing, but we are old in that sense. How many times do you think songs from this album have been sampled?
Ooh. That's a great question. There's so much.
If you had to pick a number.
Okay, so 16 songs. We're looking at 25 years of music.
Yeah.
I would say minimum 25?
52 times.
Yeah.
So since the album's released back in 1998, thank you, Shepard. Artists, future artists, current artists have sampled whatever different parts of the album 52 times. So that just sums up how profound and how impactful this album is that people choose to sample aspects of it.
Dude, that's George Clinton numbers.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. That's how you change the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazing.
Do you think Do you think we needed a second Lauryn Hill album, or was this enough to feed us for life?
See, now it's so past anything that we need from her.
Yeah.
I think it was needed. Do you remember when Chappelle put out Block Party?
Yeah.
And they had the Fuji reunion?
Yeah.
I think we needed it faster.
That was like 2005.
Yeah. I think we needed it then.
Right.
Or at least a Fuji's album. Just some kind of momentum.
Yeah.
But you can't go 25 years and expect people to be just as excited.
Sure.
Especially because there's been a lot of, unfortunately negative press about tours and being late and all of that.
So I read a lot of that.
And she straight up says it. Okay, I'm late, but you're coming to see me.
Yeah.
You're gonna wait, right? So
and there's that narcissism, right?
Yeah. And again, for the most part, people just say, "Oh, it's Miss Lauryn."
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, we'll take it.
You can have it, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's makes it a little bit difficult to be excited for another album unless she got like if I heard she was in the studio with the Chip, or she was in the studio with like, oh, actually, funny enough, there was an announcement a few weeks ago that she actually is going to the studio with the Alchemist.
Alchemist, though. Right? Alchemist is one of the greatest producers of all time. Produced Mobb Deep. There's a
gotta get Many Games album. His catalog is extensive.
Yeah,
extensive.
Yeah, but Eminem too.
Yeah.
That's
she's getting into with the Alchemist.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
right.
Because he incorporates a lot of samples.
Yes,
and a great samples to say that.
Yes, and he's got a really good soul feel. He does. I think the greatest collab would have been like a Lauryn and Jay Dilla. That would have been magic.
Right, or a Primo.
Right, straight hip hop album.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Dilla, one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, because you can't put her with a Timbaland.
No, too poppy.
Dr. Dre, I don't know, maybe.
Dre,
because Dre can do a lot of different things.
Maybe not new Dre.
No, definitely not new Dre. No. No offense, but that last Dre album, sidebar here, it's trash. Dre and
Dictionary,
trash. But yeah, old Dre.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Now, if for me to be excited about Lauryn, Alchemist is a great start. I think Q-Tip would be phenomenal as well.
Perfect.
Dude, Q-Tip's a genius
because he can do a little bit of both. He can give you the mainstream hits, but then he can take it back.
Well, and he was working with Solange, right? So he's been doing music that's really fresh with new artists,
and she's got some really
so dope, man.
It's just going under the radar.
Musically, better than Beyonce. I'm sorry, he said Solange better than
you're not wrong.
But we're going off deep end.
Yeah.
Overall, this album, I think I kind of feel like we're in the same place. What would you give it overall as a 90s OG certified fresh album?
Nicely summarized. That's exactly what this album is. I was struggling to give it a perfect 5 out of 5 because you almost want to, right? Because you look at, I mean, this album, like when you look at all the different ratings it got from different magazines and outlets, everything was almost falling. 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
But I can't, be dishonest and say it's a perfect album for me, because if it was, I would like almost every song, and I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love almost every song.
Yeah.
There's not a song that I hate on the album, which is
right.
But so I gave it a 4.5. Sorry, out of 5.
And it's so funny because I've been battling with this all day as well. I'm looking at how many songs there are on the album and how many I love.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, these aren't songs that I like. They're songs that I love. Like songs that I still play 25 years later.
Right.
Still on my playlist.
Right.
And that's like 5 songs on an album.
And I'm sure you probably even remember the first time you heard something.
Sure.
Or something that triggered a moment in your life while listening to this
100%.
Right?
100%. So because of the weight of those songs, it really helps me overlook the misses. And the misses are personal.
Yeah, of course.
Like musically, they're still good songs.
Yeah.
Writing is still good. I just don't care about it. Right. Yeah. So for me, I was wavering 4.5 out of 5.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah.
And then I was looking at NWA's 5, which is a unanimous 5.
Yeah.
And because of those feelings of both of those albums, the weight of that impact, I gotta give it a 5.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like I said, I struggled with it, but I think with NWA it was that gangster rap. And
for sure.
That's my first love.
Fueled you.
Yeah. And so maybe a little biased there, but no, a 4.5 or 5. You'd be crazy to rate it anything under that.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely insane.
For sure.
There's when we're talking about producers for a new album, I know you're not gonna like this, but a Kanye West and Lauryn Hill, a Kanye West in his prime, would be amazing because his music and his samples I mean,
It's perfect.
right?
It's
Can
perfect.
you imagine that album?
Dude,
Like,
All Falls Down was supposed to be Lauryn Hill.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, All Falls Down was supposed to be Lauryn
Selena
Hill.
Johnson.
Yeah, so last minute,
Really?
last minute they took her vocals off because Lauren didn't like the way it sounded. They went with Selena Johnson instead. The song was a fucking monster hit. But Kanye and Lauren, like pre-Nazi Kanye and Lauren,
Like, I mean, the trilogy, the first trilogy, that music with the really,
oh my
with the samples, with the different soulful
dude,
samples, I think that would be such an amazing
masterpiece.
So there it is. Our summary of the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Any final words on the album?
What final words for everybody watching? We appreciate y'all. You guys helped us get our last episode to 100 plus views. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but we're a new podcast, so getting us to 100 views, we really, really appreciate that. We're trying to make this channel blow up in a way, because it means a lot to us. Hip hop means a lot to us, and I know it means a lot to a lot of people out there. And we want to talk about great music and give it the presentation that it deserves, the love that it deserves, and the historical references that, 20 plus years later, still make a dent in culture today. So make sure you do the subscribes. You can follow me on Instagram, ITS_ALITE, pretty much on every platform. It's High Phrase on every platform, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, all the stuffs. And if you watch on Twitch, we're trying to build a Twitch page as well. Make sure you subscribe to the Twitch.
Please.
We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. And when we do the 100 subscriber, we will do our first 9750 High Phrase sponsored giveaway. So make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Let's get those numbers up.
Absolutely. I am Alite.
I'm Riz the Connoisseur.
Peace, y'all. Take care.